podcast. We have so much to get into today. The win streak continues for the Tech Boy Media as we continue producing our scoot tags, and we're also getting more people to come onto our videos, which will then merge into affiliate partnerships and advertising deals. All of this comes at the heels as people are trying to ban social media and the internet for people under the age of 18, as this artificial intelligence and anti-smartphone backlash continues. I read some This Be Evangelical book or radio program that once said, America alone stands with Israel. And that's exactly how it feels. Rather than America and our greatest ally, Israel, standing alone, it is the Tech Boy Media standing alone with the predation against the predation of the anti-tech, anti-teen radicals. First they came for artificial intelligence, and now they're coming for the smartphones. These influencers reference shared culture and random data points from dumb people as a reason for their whining and weaponized nostalgia, but offer no real solution to these alleged problems. Why? Well, some of these people have, of course, fallen for the think of the kids propaganda, while some are just click-forming. Just like the United States and Israel voted against immense pressure that food is a human right, therefore the Tech Boy Media will stand with the pro-artificial intelligence, pro-tech people of the world. We will never surrender. As witness to the most unevangelical conversation in human history, I will have zero scandals. My chats and photos could leak and nothing will happen. My score is perfect. And thus the people of the internet resort using my age to attack me, as well as the nation as well as me, myself, as the nation's most foremost scripture weaponizer with Genesis 1:27 and Genesis 12:3. I do like the book of Genesis, though it did ruin my 2022 election campaign. I will read you this verse, the same verse that they sang all through online church during COVID. Yes, it was online. What are y'all going to do about it? Quote, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech and conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. 1 Timothy 4:12. And while y'all may try some other verses Paul wrote to whine about crop tops or female pastors, I have the upper hand. Victory is nigh, and I will never let you win. As America stands for Israel, I will always stand with the pro-tech, pro-civilization, pro-teen side. Now let's go to the radical wrong and the anti-tech right. So it broke out. Matt Walsh, the great Matt Walsh, responded to me as he was blaming the iPhone for the decline of civilization in 2007. He said 2007 was a peak year, and then everything cratered when Obama became president in 2009 and when the iPhone released in 2007. I did some research, and guess how old Matt Walsh was in 2007? 21. Yes, Matt Walsh is unironically saying life was better when he was 21 years old. Wow. I've never heard that before. Wow, life was great when I was, he didn't go to college, but, lots of people go to college and they're in 21 and doing stuff that they probably shouldn't be doing. Wow, life was great when I was 21 years old. Wow. Big whoop, guys. News at 11. And he's referenced these videos, and we can react to some of these. I'll try to pull this up on the screen, but we'll do our headlines first, and then I can pull it up. He's referenced some of these videos, of these nostalgia videos of a bunch of kids smiling and laughing in 2007, saying that there was some sort of unity back then, and everything was great and perfect back in 2007, the great year of 2007, when I was 1 year old. Yes, but then when the iPhone released, then everyone magically became antisocial and started, scrolling their phones for everything. Now, for the first point, Matt Walsh, we all know who Matt Walsh is, right? He's one of the most antisocial people on planet Earth. He says that when he goes to a party, he doesn't really talk to anyone. He declares himself as an introvert. He says that he only really talks to his family and only has a few close friends. So I don't know why he's whining that people aren't sitting around on the buses, which is full of insane people, by the way, or people aren't sitting around in the airports. People are sitting down talking to each other. And also, in 1997 and 2007, when these nostalgic videos were filmed, it's actually important that they were filmed. Because back then, you didn't have fast storage. You didn't have micro SD card slots proliferating everywhere. You didn't really have digital cameras back in 1997. So they were using film or early digital cameras, which means it was important that it was being filmed. It wasn't like TikTok today. We can just pull out your phone and record a TikTok dance video. If you don't like it, you can delete it. No, if you want to delete something, you actually would lose money because you would lose film. Or you'd only have like a 4 gigabyte SD card, so every image, every video mattered. Therefore, these nostalgia videos that were filmed in schools in 2007, everyone's smiling at them because it's cut that way. It is edited that way. It's like the news. The news isn't so the boring, mundane, someone got up, went to church, then got some food at the grocery store, and then left, and then that's it. No one cares about that. The media and the news, of course, obviously only care about what's going to get them clicks. Okay, controversy drives clicks is the motto of this company, and controversy drives clicks is the motto of every news company on planet Earth that still exists. There is no reason why you should act like that 2007 was this pinnacle of human achievement or this greatness. 2007, really? And he's talking about people used to sit around and talk to each other on the book, on the trains and planes and stuff. No, they weren't. They were sitting there reading books. They were reading the newspaper. They're looking out the window, doing stuff of that nature, which is totally fine. You don't need to be going around sitting and talking to everyone. And as case in point, and we will get to our Teens of the Week video that we aired over on YouTube and Instagram yesterday. Hope I can pull this up on the screen. Guess what, guys? You can still talk and interact to people. Case in point, me, when I was selling, of course, the scoot tags, which are making tons of money. And when I'm getting people to go into my vlogs and interviews. What, you think these people are spawned out of thin air? As one person most famously said, people do not spawn out of thin air. You know, this win streak, which started just after the podcast aired last week, which is one of the greatest win streaks in human history. Well, actually, it started right before this, where we met the great Zayn Filtered and Taylor Sharp, and then we took pictures with all these people, politicians, and people in the news, and we're getting people to come into our videos. It is the greatest win streak of all time, right? You know, one thing about this is that all of my policy, all of the my quote about what was it? I will not condemn my allies that do not know that I exist. Well, now they know I exist, and one of these allies, of course, is on, of course, the great application of Snapchat. And Snapchat, though it can have a possibility and propensity to be used for great evil, it can also be used for great good. And this ally, of course, we'll get into a video one day, but she is, a vice president of high school, one of the most powerful figures on planet Earth, or in her school, one of the most powerful figures in her school, a great TikTok dancer and trendsetter, and would probably win an election against me if this was in the SSA-LTW universe. In the SSA-LTW universe, we essentially have a character like this, Sydney from Sydney Spills the Tea, which is the alt news service in the SSA-LTW The Election book. And I guess you could kind of compare it to Vice President Geneva in the SSA-LTW book as well. And you know what? No scandals. There's, interest in social media and communication, which allows us to communicate across vast distances. And no one's done anything wrong. I interviewed these people. I'll show you the clip. And they said that they got their social media accounts at age 13 and 14 years old. And guess what? They said in the 5 years they had these accounts, no scandals, nothing happened to them, nothing wrong. What does this indicate is going on? This means that nothing is actually happening, that there's tons of fear-mongering going on. And when you talk about the lack of human connection, well, I mean, I stand here with the smartphone in my hand with access to the internet and access to social media, and I can say, no, look at my new friends that I made here, of course, and I have created new capabilities and technologies to be able to do this. Here, it's, of course, with the Scoot Tag and the podcast, the famous walk and vlog method, of course, and obviously not condemning the allies who don't know exist, and now they do. Not listening to Crispy Lamont's policy. So apparently all the people whose policies on friend making and et cetera, were all wrong. It seems like the evangelical base that yells at me all the time were all wrong. And you're again all wrong on technology again. And back in high school, of course, what was the strategy? Run for president. And then what happened? We got all these people. And how did I run my elections? I ran them off of my smartphone. Okay? So people, the smartphone is a great tool for good. It can be used for evil just as every tool possible. I mean, you can make the same argument for banning guns, and obviously that is a terrible argument. We shouldn't ban them. But these people, they also say that the smartphone peaked in 2012. We didn't need to progress past this technology. The smartphone has isolated society, which it has not. But they also, they don't present any actual solutions. We are the United States of America. Okay, we do a lot of things that we don't need to do. We do not need to put man on the moon. We do not need to invent the smartphone. We do not need to expand westward and go from sea to shining sea. We could have just stayed in South Carolina, New York, and the other 13 colonies. But we didn't. Because we are a nation of innovators. We are a nation of growers. We are a nation of thinkers. We are a nation of builders. We're a nation of doers. We're a nation of expanders. And that's what makes us so great. So, no, we should not stop the progress of technology because people get mad about it. The Soviets got mad that we landed on the moon. The Soviets got mad that we started proliferating nukes, and then we stopped that. No, we went to the moon, and we went back there 5 times after that. So we went 6 times. There is no reason why we should stop the progress of technology because you people are mad. We will drag you kicking and screaming. It is against the ethos of America to stop innovation. They say that you would have more time to sit around and think, which I do like to sit around and think. Miss Matt Walsh did point out a good point that people should sit around and think. I like to sit around and think. I like to analyze and do stuff of this nature. But if you don't want to do that, if you want to sit there and scroll all day, I mean, have at it. And the smart and the intelligent and the driven people like me will then rule over you. And that's your fault. That's your problem. But Matt Walsh didn't present any evidence or any argument, for what he wanted them to do, build, think, or explore. Let's say that smartphones are either banned or they don't exist in their current form. Okay, you don't get to progress past Samsung Blackjack from 2007. Okay, now what? What exactly do we invent, build, do, or explore now? No one has actually explained this to me. Do you think that if you banned all smartphones, the cure for cancer would be found? Really? No. Obviously not. Do you think that if we banned all smartphones, that there'd be some sort of mass religious revival? No. Now, there's two arguments for this. Either all the religious revivals that we're seeing that happen across campuses every year, I don't know, maybe it happens. Every year in September and February, everyone starts getting baptized. Ever check CBN? Like, wow, guys, it's this mass revival across Christian campuses. So either that's real, and the smartphone is obviously not hindering that, or it's fake, and not having a smartphone is not going to do anything at all. It's still going to get faked. So no, there's not going to be some sort of mass Christian revival if smartphones got banned. Nor is there going to be some sort of mass innovation if smartphones got banned. Because think about this. Who made the smartphone? Who are these people? And as much as I hate having to defend Apple, I like defending myself more than I like having to defend Apple. And more than I like having to criticize Apple. Sorry. These people are saying that I'm stupid and that it's better for kids to be beat up than for them to be on social media. They're saying that I'm young and don't know anything. They're saying that society was a lot better back then. They're making threats. They're saying that I'm an idiot. You can go check the comment section. But who made the smartphone? It was the great men, the thinkers, the doers, the innovators, the people that you guys admire, the people that didn't have smartphones to sit around and think all day, to sit around and play with all day, rather. And they thought this and invented it. So what exactly are we going to invent and do with our free time, with our innovation that we're apparently going to have because we're all sitting and talking to each other on a bus and sitting around thinking and looking out a window that we don't have now? And when it is invented, when we get this new technology, such as artificial intelligence, which we now are seeing huge amounts of backlash towards, these are the doers, the thinkers, what are we seeing? I'm like, really, what do you want? And some of these people were actually honest with me and they said they want to stay in 1987. They say, oh, the technology was good and great. Okay, fine, it was good and great then, but it is much obviously better now. Why is it so hard for you people to admit? They're trying to claim that I, of course, am saying that the smartphone does not present any evil in the world. That I'm saying the smartphone is a 100% positive. I never claimed that. There's obviously tons of bad things that can be done with the smartphone. There's obviously tons of bad things that can be done with a cell phone. There's tons of bad things that can do with a stick and fire. There's tons of bad things that can be done with nuclear power. There's tons of bad things that can be done with any invention on planet Earth. Heck, even faith, the Christian faith, can be weaponized and twisted to do bad things. There are bad aspects to everything that exists on planet Earth. But I'm pointing out the good aspects. I'm saying that we are better off now than we were in 1987. It is a fact. Let me present this to you. Imagine you're getting on a bus today in any major city. Now, obviously, the bus drivers, at least the ones I've encountered in the city of Houston, are incompetent. They don't know how to drive. One of them almost fell off of a cliff. Okay? They don't know how to drive. They're slow. It's unsafe. People are yelling on there, cussing, trying to sell drugs, crazy people all the time. And no, if we ban smartphones, it's not going to bring that back. It's not going to bring back. You have this idea that everyone's sitting around in a suit and tie when they're going on the bus. First of all, in the city of Houston, that would be against the 8th Amendment, as would be cruel and unusual punishment. And second of all, it's not a thing that happened all the time. And even if it did, that's not good. I do appreciate the societal progress we have, being able to wear comfortable clothing. Okay, here we go to the United States of America. I will wear pajamas or whatever I want on a plane when I get there. Thank you very much. I don't care that it's the golden age of travel. No one cares. But anyway, let's say that you're getting on a bus in the Big 26. What do? You open up your Metro Transit application. You navigate to the bus stop on Google Maps because, of course, there's two bus stops and they all have the same number and they're across the street from each other. So you got to know which one it is. Then you check and see that your bus is delayed by like 15 minutes. So you sit there. Then what do? You open up Instagram. Maybe you open up, watch some reels. You open up, you read a book. You open it up, you do some Google searching. Okay? You listen to this podcast. You do all of that. And then your bus finally shows up. You pay for your ticket by scanning the QR code. And you sit down. You keep your head down. But, kind of look to your surroundings. Listen to podcasters like Matt Walsh until you get to your destination, which would have taken 10 minutes by car, but it's an hour by bus. And you get there, you do what you need to do, and you do the whole thing all over again. The only downside is, of course, your battery might drain. Now, imagine this is 1987. What do? Well, you go out, you buy your tickets, paper tickets, of course, or maybe that's for the train, but you have to carry cash. You have to carry cash on a bus, where it's not very safe. You have to carry your cash. You have to know the exact time you get on, you ride. You got to look at some sort of map. It's very confusing. If you get off on the wrong bus, if you take the wrong stop accidentally, oh well, you might wait for another bus and you can't call for the time because cell phones don't really exist yet. You can't, you don't know when the next bus is coming. You have to kind of sit there and memorize the route. I mean, if anything, smartphones allow you, and I know this is such a big thing in the quote unquote authenticity sphere, of people who try to be authentic, to be more spontaneous. These people talk about, I once backpacked through Europe on a paper map back in '96. It's an experience that I'll never forget. Well, yeah, I'm sure. And, it's experiences such as leprosy or near-death experiences. I mean, I'm sure you'll never forget that. Having an unforgettable experience doesn't mean it's necessarily good. It is objectively better to travel with a phone than it was back in the 80s and 90s. It is objectively better to have GPS than it was to not. It is objectively better to have this at your fingertips. And when you're sitting there with your free time, they haven't presented what they want you to do with your free time. We have our own free will. We can either sit there and read a long form article, but it's kind of hard to find some of those, but read the long form subreddit. We can sit there and read a long form article, or we can sit there and watch social media. Up on Capitol Hill, for some reason, someone's claiming that social media is designed to be addictive and that's bad or something. I do not understand why it is some sort of a crime to create an application in which someone wants to use it. Are you kidding me right now? And no, social media is not deadly. It is not. It is not deadly to sit there. I'm not recommending you do this, okay? You should touch grass. I'm not recommending you do this, but it's not deadly to sit there and scroll Instagram for 10 hours straight. It's just not. If given the option between vaping for 10 hours, I don't know if that's possible. Would you run out of batteries? I don't know. I don't do drugs. I don't vape. But if given the opportunity between vaping for 10 hours or watching Instagram Reels for 10 hours, I would take Instagram Reels 100 times out of 100. They say that it kind of rots your brain, that your IQ goes lower. And I'm just wondering, what do they want you to do with this unbridled, untapped brain power? What do they want you to do in your free time? For all of human history, since industrialization means that we don't have to sit out there and work in the fields anymore, we have had entertainment options. First, we had the phonograph. We had people going to concerts, live shows. And now, it's just moved from that to radio, from radio to TV, from TV to podcast, social media, your own media. And that's what also brings up the next problem that they like to bring up. Is that the media, back when they were growing up, was all controlled. Obviously, there was no internet, so they all watched the same channels. They all watched these cultural moments, these cultural touchstones. But now, everything is split up. Now, it's really funny because they all work for one of these split up companies. Matt Walsh works for the Daily Wire, an alternative media company. They're not on TV, they're on the internet. These other commenters have their own podcast, they have their own social media accounts. And they do their own thing. Instead of 3 channels and then just a few hundred cable channels, now there's 1 million channels, 1 billion channels. And that's a good thing. They actually say it's a good thing that the mainstream media is now being defeated, and we are the media now. The alternative media will rise again. That is the whole stick. that they can report on the ground live from their smartphone. That they can give the opinions that have been censored for far too long by the media. That the media is controlled by Hollywood and the elites, etc. And now you're whining that we don't all have cultural touchstones, which is again not true. Now we have all these trends, 6'7", these TikTok dances, etc. But you're whining that you all don't watch the same television show, so you can't talk about it at work. Like really? That's your problem? That there's no sense of unity anymore because we all didn't watch some, I don't know, what's that sitcom from the 90s? Friends? Something like that. That we all didn't watch the ending of Friends or some funny sitcom or whatever. I forgot what it's called. Okay. And? Big whoop. Let's say what Muhammad has to say over here. I want to know why you are proud of yourself and think that you are very smart. Who have ever said that? Who have ever said that? Wow. W Grammar over here. Okay. And agrees with you. Stop being so delusional. Well, I mean, you obviously do because you are a top commenter. Please work on your grammar because you made me sound absolutely stupid. Anyway, they say that we don't have these touchstones anymore. And I'm like, who cares? Who cares? Really? That's your problem? Guys, you know what we need to do? We need to ban everything. Ban the internet. Burn down the data centers. Do you know why we should do this? Because everyone didn't watch The Office with me. You know what? I miss the old days back in 1987 when everyone sat down around the fireplace, around the one TV that they had in their house, and they all watched the Super Bowl. But now when you watch the Super Bowl, you can instead of watching that, you can go watch something else if you're not interested. This is America, the land of the free. We should be free to watch what we want. What? You can't talk to me while you didn't watch the TV show that I watched? Well, ban cell phones. Ban them. What is wrong with you people? So the smartphone, to recap, is the epitome of the technological advancements and along with social media that people who didn't grow up on social media came up and invented. So if we were to take it away, we just come up with it again because that is the natural progress of things. Progress and innovation is in the spirit of Americana. And this nostalgia and empathy is killing America. I'm sorry. This nostalgia for 2007. 2007. Who has nostalgia for 2007? I'm sorry. Well, we need to go back to the old days of 18 years ago. No. This is nostalgia for a time you once knew. He said Matt Walsh was like, you can go walk into a room and not everyone was looking at. Matt Walsh apparently believes that in 2007, everyone was just standing there, standing on a wall, and until you walk in and they would all talk to you if you said hi. Well, you can still say hi now. You still need an angle. And I created that angle, obviously, with the scoot tag and with running for president. And you're a podcaster, you can do this. The walk and vlog method still works. Every time that invention comes in and takes away something, just as the car took away the horse, there's a new method for communication. So if you really want to communicate with these people, if you really care that much about what some random bum on the bus has to say, and apparently the version of utopia is everyone just talks to each other and creates some sort of community, and they all have the same tech from 1987 and never innovate, never grow, never explore, don't do anything. It just sounds like boring communism to me. It must be so sad to live that way. Like, very, very sad. I mean, does anyone else have a spirit that burns within you to do something big, to do something great, to go out and conquer something, to drive, to explore, to invent? Does anyone else have that? And if they don't, that's totally fine. If they want to sit there and watch what they want to watch, fine. The drivers and innovators and builders are going to be the people who inherit the earth. And I think it's good to allow people to have the option and the choice. Because quite frankly, the people that are falling for social media trends that are dangerous, drinking Tide Pods, running through fences, jumping off a moving car, I don't know, jumping off of 10 milk crates, or backflipping into a pool while drunk. I don't know. The milk breaker challenge. That's what I'm saying about empathy. You have too much empathy for these people. They're dumb. Okay? They're dumb. We don't need to be writing legislation or laws to try to save them. Like, no, it was over for them when it started. If you're dumb enough to do anything like that, you had what was coming to you. I'm so sorry. You keep wanting to talk to them, like, okay. But just as the car replaced horses, now authenticity in the smartphone and vlogging and podcasting will replace, I guess, randomly approaching random people somewhere. It worked for me, and it'll definitely work for you. If it can work for me, it can work for you. And the innovators and doers will be the ones who carry on the spirit of Americana, of course, in this artificial intelligence age. Speaking of artificial intelligence and the United States, Anthropic, the virtue signaling annoying chatbot, Claude, has now been blacklisted by the Department of War because they didn't want to use their chatbot for war. What on earth did they think was going to happen? Did they think that the chatbot was just for Pete Hegseth to write fanfics about himself? Did they think that the Department of War wasn't going to use the chatbot for war? Now, obviously, this is being done to virtue signal that they're going to resist the American regime, which apparently they think that, the United States can't find a chatbot somewhere else. Oh, well, Claude is gone, so well, I don't know what America's going to do. America's cooked. It's over. Well, Claude is here, and now, of course, delusional people who are against using artificial intelligence like this are like, yeah, guys, I want to download Claude now. I'm like, okay, we're so proud of you. We're so proud of you that you all are virtue signaling. Virtue signaling, annoying people. There's almost nothing worse on earth than the virtue signalers. But let me open up. Let me see if I put this on the screen. Hope you guys can see this article. This is from Axios. You guys can see this. Yeah, okay, good. Pentagon takes first step towards blacklisting Anthropic. So they have Claude, and it is the artificial intelligence model running through the military's classified systems. Now, I wonder what it's actually doing. It's like it's telling them how to plan out their ops, how to sting, how to go get dictators across Latin America. And they don't want to use these to help like shoot their missiles. Well, we'll get someone else up. We'll get someone else. Okay. But this does go on to say show what I was talking about before, that we are in the golden age of artificial intelligence. We are in a bubble, right? This bubble is probably going to collapse soon. I was reading about the Apple Mac Minis, how they have so much RAM on them right now, and how they can now be used for on-device application-based artificial intelligence. I think that's where we're going to see the world going as well. We're going to be seeing more on-device artificial intelligence, and then we're going to be seeing models such as Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT, the online models, be integrated into software. So and if you want online artificial intelligence, you might have to start paying for it. But right now we're in the golden age, and these companies are trying to integrate. And Claude is probably trying to virtue signal, like, all right, guys, we're resisting. Well, hopefully the virtue signal doesn't work. We got Grok on our side. We can use that just as well as we can use Claude. So there is that. And to these virtue signals, my goodness. All right, now let's go check out our interview. This was done for ScootTag. ScootTag is, of course, our 3D printed scooter license plate. You can see this here, and you're going to see in this video how I go to the source and ask people questions about what they're doing with their technology. Actually, we're going to do the shorter one. Yeah, I'm not going to watch this long interview. Sorry. This is an interview, and this can be a teen of the week or something like this. And I'm asking, going straight to the source about what they're using for technology without going out and judging people as well. And obviously, we don't criticize our allies. Christy Lamond might be having connection, but Christy Lamond doesn't control his company. I hope you guys can see this on the screen. Let me turn up the volume.
Here with
Callie
and Haley.
And today we're going to be finding out what their favorite apps and websites are. So, what is your favorite app?
I like anything that has to do with shopping.
And what is your favorite app?
TikTok and ChatGPT.
What is your prompt?
Can you do my homework for me?
You just type that in? And guys, are you going to buy a scoot tag?
Yeah!
All right, thank you for coming on. And just before, what kind of phones do you have?
I have an iPhone 16 Plus.
I have an iPhone 11.
Wow, it's time for you to upgrade. Phone from the last decade. And did you see how entertaining that was? Now, these people didn't just spawn out of thin air. Right? We got down to the bottom of how technology was being used, and then other interviews we talked about how Instagram was being used. And I do not get it. Why are we trying to ban it? It's perfectly fine. Most of the people, teens included, are safe, responsible people. They grew up on this technology and no scandals emerged. They're completely and totally fine. I mean, as witness to one of the most unevangelical conversations in human history. And, the device purity test wept. If I were to type in what happened into the device purity test, I'd probably break it, okay? I would break it. We be in negative numbers. We'd be in the Kelvins. And guess what? The lives are fine. There are no scandals, no social media scandals, anything like this. And I also don't think they could have been stopped. We talk about these digital ID. Obviously, you should need digital ID to access clearly adult websites. And by clearly adult websites, I don't mean social media. Okay, we don't need digital ID age verification at the root level of your operating system. That is ridiculous. There is zero reason why you should need to verify your age just to type in Word. Ridiculous. If the NSA wants access to your computer, they have access to your computer via the Patriot Act, which is one of the best acts that we have. There's zero reason for that. There's zero reason to try to have this, we gotta save the children. The children are fine. We don't need your help. Why y'all scream at the screen and whine about the death of thinking childhood, people don't go outside anymore, which is really funny. Because that video, as are all of them, were taped outside. And if you didn't notice, one of them was holding a pickleball paddle, which means she wasn't sitting there scrolling all day. We have free will. We have technology that our forefathers dreamt of. And yet we sit around and whine and bash each other about it. And once you run out of stuff like that, then you go and bash outfits or bash, some Bible verse, yada, 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 blah, 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 whine. And the strategy, of course, of the TechBoy media, of the I don't criticize my allies who don't know that I exist, the pro-tech, pro-team, pro-AI policy will, of course, inevitably win. As this week of winning comes up to a close. My first major loss came yesterday on a TikTok live. Well, yeah, it's just randomly dropping number. Like, whoa, what? Anyway, nonetheless, let's talk about the Galaxy S24 Ultra. 26 Ultra. Sorry. I got those phones confused because they're almost the same phone. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. This is the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. I did a redesign of the website, but the problem was that our press releases, which just talked about how we help contribute money to organizations. Let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. So you can see the phone on the screen. It has a nice design. This is the S24 Ultra's design. I got a new case. Apparently, this is a 12,000 milliamp hour battery case, which, if true, what are we doing, Samsung? If this is an actual 12,000 milliamp hour battery case, and they weren't just lying on the box that it came in, look how slim it is. Would you not use a phone this slim if it had a 17,000 milliamp hour battery? This is just a case. It costs $35. If Samsung made a phone that was this thick by itself, I'd be lining up at the door to buy it. I wouldn't even need to buy a regular. I could just buy a regular case. 17,000 milliamp hour batteries in a case this slim. 5,000 in the phone, 12,000, but just back here. Samsung, why don't we do this? Instead, for the sixth year, Samsung kept the same battery capacity. When I was launching bottle rockets in the midst of the nigger war, okay? I was out there fighting these kids. The first crush war was among us. Okay, this was pre-COVID. In February of 2020, Samsung released the S20 Ultra, and that is the last time that they upgraded their battery from the S10 Plus to the S20 Ultra. 5,000 mAh. It's been 6 years. And yes, we have the same applications, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Maybe we've talked about them multiple times about how the lack of innovation is, and it's not because people are on their phones all the time. It's not because of that. It's in this pre-COVID era. 5,000 mAh battery life? Still? Yeah, we do have some upgrades. 60-watt charging. Great. No titanium. Sad. Very sad. And yeah, it can charge your phone up to 75% in 30 minutes, but I would prefer 50% if it had 6,000, 7,000 mAh battery. Heck, you can put 10,000 on here. The OnePlus 15, which doesn't have as good cameras, obviously, is not as good as the phone, but it's going to last a lot longer than this unless Samsung optimized the heck out of this phone. I mean, optimized it to the T. And I really hope they did. You know, I would have gotten this phone if it had a bigger battery. My phone's battery life is trash. Hence the battery case. I do not trust Samsung to keep doing this. And 7 years down the line, we need a battery improvement. Now, the main improvement on this phone is the privacy display, which is an actual new hardware display, so it cannot come to devices. Just like I was in when I was little, and I heard that Android 6 would add support, direct support for fingerprint scanners. I thought my tablet, which was on Android 4.4 KitKat at the time, had Face ID. That's pretty cool. I thought my tablet would have fingerprint scanner just magically spawn into the screen like an on-display fingerprint scanner. And I booted it, tablet broke, etc. And guys, guess what? It was fine. You know, in all my years on that tablet, I got into no scandals, no trouble. All my years on all the other tablets and all the other computers I have, no scandals, no trouble. Most of us are fine. Some of us do some wrong things, yeah. Everyone falls into sin. Everyone does wrong, okay? I do not believe that putting essential malware on your phone. Okay, parental control applications are malware. Look at them. They can track GPS location. Literally drop in live and hear what you're saying around you. Take pictures of wherever you are. Take a key log. That is the definition of malware. And the sad thing is that they are ripping the parents off who pay for this malware. They charge you like $30 a month for it, when you can get actual malware like Android for free. Like it's actual malware, okay? Yes, there are going to be problems. Yes, there are going to be people who do wrong things. But I do not think it is worth putting malware on there. I don't think it's worth doing these screen time passcode thingies. I don't think it's worth obviously needing to have age verification to access anything beyond the root level. Just as the policy of not criticizing my allies because it's outfits or whatever, I'm not going to criticize and bring a blanket ban upon all teenagers because some idiots did some things. People who fall into huge moral fallings, fall into sin like this, who send inappropriate stuff over on Snapchat or whatever. The greatest application on planet Earth. The greatest application, the GOAT. You know, it has streaks, allows me to connect to people. Send pictures back and forth. We all know what Snapchat is. And my VP BFF. Nonetheless, and MI6, of course. I'm not gonna commit to a blanket ban like this. Anyway, they have this privacy display, which is really cool. You can it's on hardware and it's baked into the software. So if a notification pops up with a one-time password, a very important text message, you can blow that, but keep the screen going on as well. Now the problem is that the viewing angles are apparently slightly worse according to reviews. I haven't been able to see it, obviously. Because half the pixels are narrow pixels that only fire towards your face when you turn on the privacy display, and half of the normal pixels so that you have good viewing angles. Now, viewing angles haven't been that important to me. I mean, I'm not sitting here like watching TV with 5 people on a phone. Okay, that's never happened. So if they're still decent enough, I think that's fine. I mean, it would be a huge boon. Now, hopefully, it's bright enough to be in the Texas and Arizona sun. The cameras, I don't even know if they upgraded. They didn't bring Bluetooth back to the S Pen. It's thinner, which is nice. So good on Samsung for that. And lighter, but unfortunately, no. Obviously, no titanium display. Sorry, design, which is really sad. I wish that we had titanium. All right, let's talk about the Ninebot E2. This is an electric scooter. It's my personal electric scooter, and it's a good scooter, but it does have a few problems. Hopefully, you guys can see this on the screen. This is a picture of the electric scooter. This is what it looks like. It's a pretty nice design, and if you do have a scoot tag, we put them right here. So that's very nice right there. Ninebot by Segway is an electric scooter brand, and it retails for around $300 something. The exact name is lost on me, but it's called the Ninebot E2 Plus. It's kind of messed up. The box that the scooter came on, I don't have a picture. It said it had about 12.3 miles of range, which I do believe. The website says 16. I do not believe that at all. I went somewhere about 6.5, maybe 7 miles, and it was on 3.5, 2.5. Oh, sorry, no, 2.5 bars of battery life. And once it gets started down there, it does feel like, no, this isn't scientific analysis, that it does start to drain faster. So if I went somewhere that's about 6 miles away, 3 miles there, 3 miles back, then it probably has about 12.3, 13 miles of range. Now, its scooter retails about $300. Should you get another scooter? Let's find out. For the speed concern, 15.5 miles an hour. And I have verified that it does go at 15 miles an hour, not the 0.5. I don't think it shows that on Google Maps. When I was navigating, it showed me 15 miles an hour I drove past the speed trap, 15 miles an hour. So I do believe that it goes 15 miles an hour. There are 4 modes, but unfortunately, to be able to use the scooter, you need to have the application, unless you only want to go 10 miles an hour, and you have to keep stopping from beeping. You can lock the scooter from the application, which disables the motor. Obviously, someone can still pick it up. So still lock your scooter if it's in a high theft area. Obviously, the scoot tag can help with that because it adds identification to your scooter. And you also have cruise control, which allows you to keep your scooter going just by pressing the throttle. We have to activate that in the application. Now, there are some pickup issues. 3 mile per hour pickup speed, that's good. So that means it's start to stop, 3 miles per hour, that's how it's going to start, and then go to 15 if you keep pressing the trigger. The problem is that it randomly stalls out sometimes. So let's say I'm going 7 miles an hour, and then I have to start slowing down a little bit, go 3 miles an hour, and I want to start back up again. It will sometimes just stall out, and then you have to kind of kick it again, like bring it all the way down to 0, kickstart the scooter once over again. You have to get on the scooter and kick it, and then keep going. And then it stops. It's really annoying. Or when I want to start it, it just won't start sometimes. It's very annoying. It could be potentially unsafe. If I'm in traffic, we're all going at the same speed. A pedestrian comes down, we kind of slow down a little bit, and we want to pick back up again. They're still going back. The scooter's behind me going 17 miles an hour. I'm going 3, and I have to stop there in the middle of the road. It's very unsafe. Speaking of stopping, the brakes were good. Now they're kind of they're kind of not the best. Not the best, in my opinion. There's some brake slippage. That's not good. That's not good. Now, as for the design of the scooter, a rubber deck, comfortable enough to ride. You can ride over gravel, kind of slides a little bit. It's fine. You can ride over curbs. It's good. The suspension feels good for the rider, but if you're using one of those scooter cup holders that we were talking about, skates and scoots, all that suspension, because there's a rubber bottom under and you have rubber tires and all that, it's good for the rider, but anything that's on the scooter, not good for that. So be careful with that. Obviously, you want your scoot tag right here. That is what we are promoting here. Again, look, guys, I got out into the real world, talked to an actual person. They said it couldn't be done. They said it couldn't be done. Well, they were wrong once again. All the advice and suggestions that have been given by multiple people have been wrong all the time. So, let's take that not here nor there. And the range is fine. I mean, I wish I had bigger battery life. And the charging speed's not, no. The charging speeds, it doesn't charge like a OnePlus. It's not like that. So, it's an overnight charging machine. It is not for charging once, like in 30 minutes or anything like that. You gotta charge it every night. Now we're going to be talking more about what's going on in internet culture and how people are always yelling at me and whining all the time. As we enter, of course, this artificial intelligence age, as people start getting more persnickety, more annoying. So let's talk about Gen Z. They're going back to physical media. What do I think about this? There's a report out of the LA Times saying that Gen Z is going back to physical media. They're getting their Blu-rays, CDs, DVDs. I think that's fine. Records and cassettes? No. There's a reason why physical media progressed and why we stopped why we got rid of it. We got rid of it because it was annoying to carry around. It has lots of storage. Streaming is good, okay? Oh, we hate streaming. We're going to give it back. They might delete something that we want to. Like, how many times are you watching that movie, guys? Like, oh goodness. Well, I think physical media is a good thing. I am a huge proponent of micro SD card slots. Obviously, not on the S26 Ultra. I'm very sad. A huge proponent of that. I'm a proponent of having the capability to read it. Now, I don't think it's some sort of a vast conspiracy that all the tech companies got rid of. It's people just weren't using it. But there's a reason why there's not a cassette player on my computer right now. Because no one uses it. There's a reason there's not a floppy disk on my computer right now. Because no one, if everyone kept using it, it'd be, it'd be the same. And they'd keep keeping it. So some sorts of physical media are good. I think DVDs and Blu-rays, those are fine, right? Now, there's a way you can just like have DVD play it. That's good. But there's some sort of a virtue signaling way to I'm against the corporation. I'm against the man. I hate corporations, guys. Physical media, yeah, it's better. And then you have these parents who are like, yeah, guys, yeah, we don't give our kids tablets. No. We give them some sort of a DVD player that's hooked up to a Jekyll server over the homeland, and then they have to use a Windows XP computer, which everyone for some reason has nostalgia for. Well, the computer, the internet used to be a place, and it used to be a great place, and but now all these kids got on it, and all the tickies, and it's just a bunch of whiners, right? Nah, okay. There's a way you can go about it. Or records, like I guess they're cool, but the audio quality, the size, the cost, the upkeep, they melt. I believe. No, it's not worth it. There's a reason we did this. There's a reason smartphones exist. You have to remember, there's a reason all this exists. It's because the people wanted it. Because it was out of convenience. Okay, stop acting like you were forced to use it. That's why I'm talking about these people saying that they're addicted to their phones, addicted to social media. You can leave. And all these people whining about social media, etc. Again, you can leave. We're here because we want to be. No one is forcing you to be on Instagram. No one. No one. Hell, stuck your gunpoint and forced you to be on Instagram. Okay, and you might say, "Oh, it's addictive." Okay, so what? It's not dangerous. But yeah, nicotine is addictive. I believe. Again, I'm not a drug expert, but it is dangerous. That's why we don't give it to you. It is not dangerous for people. These cell phones and social media. It is not dangerous. It is fine. Stop whining. God bless. Tech talk. To you later. And hopefully we have more to talk about next time. God bless America.